All right, let's talk about the AI that's running your online shopping experience. We're going to dive into everything from those creepily accurate recommendations to the really serious ethical questions behind it all. We'll break down how it works and, most importantly, the role that we humans have to play in keeping it all in check.
You know that feeling, right? You're just browsing online, maybe thinking about something you need, and boom, an ad for that exact thing pops up. Or you get a product recommendation that is so spot on it feels, well, a little spooky. If you felt that, you're definitely not alone. And no, it's not magic, it's AI.
And here's why it feels so common. A huge number, 69%, of marketing teams are actively using AI tools right now. They're the ones building that super personalized, mind-reading experience that makes your shopping feel so smooth and, let's be honest, gets you to hit that buy button. So let's start with the good stuff because there's a lot of it. In a lot of ways, AI is becoming our own personal shopper. It's available 24/7 and it's really changing e-commerce for the better.
I mean, one of the most obvious examples is chatbots and virtual assistants. You've seen them. These things give you support around the clock. You can ask about shipping or returns or product details, and you get an answer instantly. No more waiting on hold for 20 minutes. And here's where it gets really smart. These two roles, the AI assistant and the human agent, they're meant to work together. The AI handles all the simple, repetitive questions right away. And that frees up the human agents to focus on the tricky or emotional problems, the stuff where you really need a person with empathy. A good system always gives you an easy way to talk to a real human. It's about making the human touch even more effective, not just replacing it.
And that brings us to the other AI superpower in e-commerce, making everything personal. These recommendation engines are incredible. They're not just guessing. They're analyzing your clicks, what you've bought before, and even what other people like you have bought to build a digital storefront that's basically just for you. It's like the difference between wandering lost in a giant warehouse versus having your own personal stylist pull things for you.
But you knew there was a but coming, right? Like any powerful tool, there's another side to this story. All this amazing convenience comes with some serious ethical baggage that we really need to unpack. And that really is the million-dollar question. What's the real cost for having an online store that seems to know you so well? Well, the answer is pretty simple. It's our data and how it gets used. One of the absolute biggest risks is something called algorithmic bias. See, an AI model only knows what we teach it. It learns from data. So if the data we feed it is full of our own historic human biases, well, the AI learns them too. And sometimes it can make them even worse. For instance, an algorithm could learn to only show ads for luxury items to people in certain zip codes. Or a chatbot might not understand different accents or dialects, creating an experience that's unfair and leaves people out.
And then, of course, there's the giant issue of data privacy. Every single time you click, search, or buy something, you're creating fuel for these AI engines. And that puts a huge amount of pressure on companies to be totally straight with us about what data they're collecting and to have rock-solid security to keep it safe.
You know, this whole ethical line also applies to how companies keep tabs on each other. There's a shady way to do it, like illegally scraping data, which is a huge no-no. But there are also perfectly ethical ways to do competitive research. For example, there are public tools, like Google's Ads Transparency Center, that let anyone see what ads a company is running. That kind of openness is actually good for everyone.
Okay, so knowing all these risks, how can a company actually use AI the right way? The good news is, there's a pretty clear playbook taking shape for how to do AI ethically. One that's all about building trust and being fair. This playbook for responsible AI really comes down to 4 key steps that all connect. First, you gotta have clear rules inside the company. Those rules then shape how you handle user data. Once that's solid, you can be transparent with your customers about what you're doing, and all of that lets you focus on being fair by actively looking for and getting rid of bias in your systems. And that third point, transparency, it might just be the most important one for building trust. It doesn't have to be some complicated legal document either. It can be as simple as putting a label on a chatbot that says virtual assistant. It's about being honest and showing your customers respect by giving them control. And that brings us to our last, and I'd argue, our most important section. This is about the ultimate safeguard in the age of AI,
Because no matter how brilliant the technology gets, human judgment has to stay in the driver's seat. It's non-negotiable.
I just love this quote from Salesforce. They talk about creating mindful friction. Think about that. Instead of just letting the AI run wild to be as fast as possible, they're building in intentional speed bumps, pauses where a real person has to step in, review the AI's work, and give it the okay. It's just a perfect example of putting responsibility ahead of pure automation.
So where is this human oversight an absolute must? Well, two places really stand out. First, marketing. A person has to sign off on AI-generated ads before they go out into the world. You have to catch that embarrassing typo or that really tone-deaf message. And second, customer service. When a customer is really upset or has a complex problem, you need a human to step in. No algorithm can fake genuine empathy.
At the end of the day, having a human in the loop is the ultimate fail-safe. It's what guarantees accountability. It means a company can't just throw its hands up and say, oops, the black box algorithm did it when something goes wrong. No, a person is still responsible. And that's what holds the whole system of trust together.
So that kind of leaves us with this final thought to chew on. AI is absolutely going to keep getting smarter and more woven into everything we do. There's no stopping that. The real question we have to ask ourselves as shoppers, as workers, as citizens, is, are we getting wiser? Are we building the ethical rules and the wisdom to manage it properly? Thanks for joining this explainer.